listed there. The size of their name indicates their importance in the organization, and then the font style tells you what position they play.
Oh my God.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's exactly right. And then, I mean, it goes so far as to talk about winning seasons and losing seasons, and really everything there is to know about the Chicago Blackhawks history is on here. So Bruce will refer to it as a one-page history book.
And really tells a story.
And Bruce has been making these long as I've been alive. That's my high school swim coach, and about 4.5 years ago, I sort of courted him and found him, and now we are business partners, and we are taking this concept of really, as one of our partners, as Drew would say, we're making information beautiful. And, you know, you can learn about the Blackhawks in an encyclopedia, in a media guide, however, but really just this one piece creates so many memories and just brings back so much history.
For guys. Well, for a lot of guys.
Well, and then same for anybody. I mean,
right.
You know,
well, then the other thing,
people into this stuff.
The music. I love the music. That is so cool.
So here, it takes it, there's different, the decades, music of the decades. So everyone in the trunk of the tree more or less influenced the decade, the people in the decade. But then there's different genres. History of American rock and roll, British rock and roll, heavy metal, and blues.
And this is really half of Bruce's portfolio. We've since I've come on board. Yeah, Bruce is in the back. Yeah, you should meet him. I mean, I like to say it's really the perfect gift for everyone, every budget, everywhere, because you can get it. You know, the prints themselves are how much are just the rolled ones?
40.
So those are 40. The framing is 125, and then they're thoughtful. People remember who got them because they evoke so much emotion. Really, like I didn't know this, but my grandfather, who passed away a couple years ago, 102 years old, I gave him the Cubs tree foam cord. And when he was in the hospital, he would ask the nurse to bring it to him, and he would read the bottom of it. I mean, this is like the 1910s, the 1920s. I mean, you know, growing up, your idols, like, he knows people that no one else even thinks about. And so we've really only created, in terms of a mass market appeal, the Blackhawks. And we're just building, we're just finishing, I should say, the foundation so that we can really do the Cardinals tree and really, I think, provide for Bruce the kind of recognition and fame and hopefully fortune that is worthy of such a marvel concept.
Yeah, it is really.
Isn't it cool? Yeah.
And the 90s are actually signed and numbered. People will email me. On the music, it's size is really. Size matters, whereas on the Blackhawk tree, the position is the font. For the music, it's really in. I hope Bruce is hearing me in case I'm wrong.
I'm right here.
Oh, Bruce. The music, it's just the size is really prominent. The font is just really either they had a logo or
the 60s and 70s really had the font action. You know, now it like in the 90s. I created fonts for bands because they don't have fonts. They don't have fonts, so I find something that reflects, the other kind of music.
Oh, okay. So,
but usually, if they have something that they are recognized by, it's
like ABBA or ACDC.
Oh yeah, those are all. That's what made it fun.
Chicago.
You're right. Yeah, Chicago's
that's
really recognized.
Their
Bruce,
name was
how did you get into this again?
What?
Yeah.
Oh, I had nothing. I had dead time. Like I had dead time, like between coaching, teaching, and I didn't have enough things to do. So back in the 70s, there wasn't any, encyclopedias of rock. Or, so I wanted to start to put that.
Google, Wikipedia, yeah.
Oh, they didn't have that stuff. So. That's how I did that, and then I tried to put as much stuff from that decade that reflected the mood and the times. On the 60s tree, you have all the peace signs and the power signs, and then you put them all together, all the decade trees. Here's a little bit of But the music is that, I'll go through and I'll use Billboard and the critics and.
Do you, is there, flow over, like, some of the stuff that's on the set, some of the groups that are on the 70s or in the 80s?
Well, let's say the Beatles, huge,
Yeah,
60s,
sure.
and then small but readable
Sure.
on the 70s, and then by then they're in the roots.
Right, okay.
Yeah, so it's fun, it's always fun to do. Now, the 2000 tree is going to be, from 2000 to 2009, it'll be, I always say to somebody, I said, if you have a 3 or 4 letter name for your band, there's a chance that you might get on the tree. Because you build them just like you would like a house. You put the bricks on top, or a walkway or a driveway where you do bricks. You get it to a point where sometimes you get into logistics.
Yeah, oh no, we'll get it done, so it's here for you.
Are they all the same size?
The 60s, 70s, and the 80s and 90s, and the American rock, and...
We have examples of them in the back, if you want to take a look back there.
Here's the 60s.